Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Pleb Underground, the signal without the slop. I am your host, Phil. All right, let's dive into the stories we are going to look at today. Of course, there is another paper Bitcoin summer update. We are surprised. Last week, we talked about illegal immigrants, possibly having to use digital IDs in the UK. Yeah, well, the UK Prime Minister's kind of fast tracking that along. We're surprised. We're totally surprised. Yeah, we're going to pull up some of these videos. We're going to see some of the choice comments that he had to make during an interview and another instance. I believe he was at the world addressing the World Economic Forum as well. Get ready, guys. The Hopium. Like, this is it. I don't know if you realize, but today is the make or break moment for Bitcoin. Okay? Make or break moment. I'm going to show you a chart that proves it. That's right. Awesome Hopium. Anyways, Square's Bitcoin payment let down. Not so surprised. Definitely was pleased with the good news from Jack Dorsey, talking about how all of a sudden all of these Square retailers are going to be able to use their Square terminals to accept Bitcoin. It looks like there's some bumps in the road. Take a look at that. And shout out to Lucky Redfish for tagging me in both of these stories. Singapore Exchange loses millions, and Spanish and Portuguese authorities stopped these scammers that scammed over $117 million US with these high yield investment products. And unfortunately, I have some experience with those products, as I allowed myself to be scammed by this in 2019. So yeah, we're going to talk about that. And the drum roll. There's fake news again. I know. You guys are surprised. You're surprised that the really big accounts are spreading fake news for the joy of Bitcoin. I know. It's heartbreaking, absolutely heartbreaking and surprising. But we are going to dive into this Shell and Bitcoin story because, as you could imagine, Shell's not really deploying Bitcoin. That's the TLDR on that one. But we'll take a look at that story. Anyways, guys, it's going to be lots of fun. You know the deal. We're going to show some love to the Pleb Underground sponsor. We're going to be right back, and we are going to start taking a look at these stories. Here we go.
Pleb Underground is sponsored by Archimedes Emporium. Discover the pinnacle of precision engineering, starting with their Bitcoin logo wall clock, meticulously machined in Maine from a solid block of aerospace-grade aluminum, ensuring unparalleled durability and performance. Experience the difference of a product made without compromise. Head on over to Archimedes Emporium.
Okay, let's start right away with the I know normally we try to start with the Hopium, but you know what? Let's just go right into the paper Bitcoin summer stuff. Should be no surprise to anyone. IPO rumors, right? Kraken secures $500 million funding at a $15 billion valuation. In all honesty, not too far away from what Gemini just received 2 weeks ago, right? They got about $425 million for, I think it was like 3% of the company. No, I'm thinking of a different company. Anyways, either way, no surprise here, right? These guys, they figured out this is the time to, this is the time to strike while the iron's hot. A whole bunch of these companies are IPOing right now. There's a whole lot of money going into these businesses before they come out on the market. And yet we're having a very interesting scenario happen, right? Once the IPO occurs, which, guys, if you have been in traditional finance markets and you've dealt with equities before, you know that this is pretty much par for the course, right? The IPO is the moment of exuberance. It is not very often that you're going to have a situation where it's going to IPO at like this nice low price and then start to go up from there. Yes, of course, that has happened, but it's like the needle in the haystack. Anyways, not only is Kraken IPOing, lo and behold, right? I think I even reported on this a few weeks ago, but it looks like this is moving ahead, right? Bitgo, which is one of the biggest custodial providers in the space for Bitcoin and shitcoins, right? Bitgo, a leading crypto custodian with over 90 billion in assets. That's assets that they are managing. It's not their assets themselves. Anyways, has filed for S1 registration documents with the SEC as it seeks to list its Class A common stock on the NYSE. And of course, what facilitated this? The genius stablecoin bill. So, as Donald Trump told us all to have fun playing with our Bitcoins, it appears that everybody else is having fun with their stablecoins and their shitcoins and IPOing their exchanges. No surprise there. No surprise there. And of course, I mean, my personal opinion is I stay away from all this stuff. I told you guys, if for whatever reason you decide that, you want to invest in one of these businesses, do yourself a favor, at least wait for them to come out with a few quarterly reports, just so you can have an idea of the direction that they're going in. And if management can actually stay on task and follow through with what they've said, if that's the path you're going, personally, I just buy Bitcoin. It's a lot easier. But again, right? Teach their own. Everybody wants to do their thing, so you go do your thing. Okay, moving on. We are going to take a look at some digital ID panopticon dystopian future that nobody is interested in except the people trying to maintain power. So let's listen to some choice words from Prime Minister Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister of the UK.
And that is why today I am announcing this government will make a new free of charge digital ID mandatory for the right to work by the end of this Parliament.
Nice.
Let me spell that out. You will not be able to work in the United Kingdom if you do not have digital ID.
It's kind of interesting because just last week it was for the illegal immigrant. Damn, time moves pretty quick, huh? Time moves pretty quick. Okay, now so here's another choice clip of him in an interview. We're going to pay special close attention to the mental gymnastics. Okay, let's pay close attention to the mental gymnastics going on here.
Our viewers got in touch and wanted us to ask this question. Ross Brown wanted us to ask you if you really believe that those profiting from human trafficking will think, oh dear, I have to check your digital ID now. I can't carry on paying you £1.50 an hour to work in my sweatshop.
I am absolutely convinced that amongst the reasons that people travel through France, which is a safe country, to come to the United Kingdom, amongst the reasons is because it's easier to work in our illegal economy than it is in other countries. And we have to deal with that.
Bosses who are prepared to hire people illegally are not asking them for their national insurance card. So what's the evidence? What makes you think they're suddenly going to ask them for a digital ID?
We need to be really clear. You must have ID, mandatory digital ID, in order to work, because we have to stop illegal working. If you look at any of the raids, we've massively...
I'm sorry. I hate being the pause guy, but I can't help it. Obviously, the people hiring illegals are not going to be registering these people for an ID. These are grown adults, right? Like, this is insane stuff. Oh boy. Oh boy. StreamYard just stopped responding. I don't know if you guys can still see or hear me. Oh boy. Oh, that's not good. Sorry, guys. Having some technical difficulties. Just bear with me here. Let me see if you guys can see me. Okay, that's great. I can't see anything, and that is absolutely awful. Yeah, that's too bad. And re-add me. No, that thanks, guys. Yeah, I don't know why this is happening. No, you're frozen. Okay. Thank you. Let's see if I can add something. Okay, I can add something else to the stage. Sorry, guys. Okay. I'm back. All right. Sorry, guys. Yeah, I don't know. Got fiber. Okay. Anyways. So that totally screwed me up, but it doesn't make a difference, right? Keir Starmer, that is absolutely some scary stuff. The idea that businesses are actually going to fall for this, I just don't get it. I just don't get it. And it's really scary, right? Because this is supposed to be, this is the prime minister of a country. Like that freaks me out that these people are just so willing to fold over and be like, I'll just do what you say. It doesn't matter. Like he can't even explain why. Can't even explain why he needs that. Okay, why they really need digital ID. Okay, we're going to try to continue. We're going to try to continue that clip, okay?
The number of raids on working premises. It is...
All right. Obviously, StreamYard does not like me. I do apologize. Forget it. The link's in the show notes anyways, guys. So you can watch back the whole entire video. But essentially, it's just him doing mental gymnastics, trying to explain why businesses are simply going to follow through with this. And especially not only that, but businesses specifically that employ illegals, right? So, yeah. Anyways, it is just absolute nonsense. None of that stuff is actually happening. Okay, guys, we're going to dive right into the Hopium. Let's do it. Hopefully this doesn't go down the tube. Guys, we're going to be okay, right? We're going to kick it off with this. We now have the counter signal again that we need because American Bitcoin investors could potentially lose everything. And as we know, Jim Cramer is a fantastic market indicator for things to come. So yeah, we all going to make it, guys. We all going to make it. But if that's not enough, we all going to make it energy. Take a look. Got this chart from ASPK 32's Bitcoin cycle prediction for 2025. Okay, let's pull this thing up. Let's take a look. Is that even it? I'm sorry, guys. For whatever reason, all the video stuff is not working. Stupid. Okay, let's try this then. Does this one work? Gonna have to have a chat, StreamYard. All right, here we go. Oh, wow. It's even worse. Okay, I don't actually know what you guys can see, what you can't see, but it is just absolutely brutal. But this is a nice chart from APSK 32's account showing where we are going in the cycle. And in case you haven't figured it out, yeah, you know what? I genuinely feel like they are blocking me. Like everything is just frozen and slow. Okay. Anyways, guys, yeah, I don't know why, not really sure why that's happening, but either way, let's continue on. Because that sucks, and I don't want to waste your time. So, Square's Bitcoin payment letdown, right? Where is this coming from? So, shout out to Seed, because Seed has been attempting. He has been attempting to use Square for payments, but unfortunately, it doesn't seem to be working the way he thought. Bitcoin's early access program won't let me accept Bitcoin in my online store. It basically just lets me buy Bitcoin with revenue from the store. Looks like it might be possible to accept Bitcoin with the Square iOS app. All right. Looked for this feature in the app, wasn't able to find it. So far, this is pretty underwhelming. And let's take a look at what is known. And shout out to Seed, because Seed provided all of this info. And guys, I really appreciate all of the supportive comments and everything. Thank you so much. I don't know why the volume keeps cutting out. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, Z-Logic. Today is just one of those days. I kid you not. It started off like that. You know, even like the water filter in my fridge stopped working and stuff. It's Murphy's Law, man. It's a Monday. Anyways, all right, so let's take a look at some of these features. So, according to Square, automatic Bitcoin purchases using select percentage of your Square card sale proceeds, on-chain withdrawals, market buy-sell capabilities, web-based Bitcoin wallet with full dashboard, view-only access in Square point of sale app. Accept Bitcoin payments in the iOS app only. And before you begin, of course, you've got to complete your onboarding, and you've got to upgrade to a specific version. So if there's anybody else who is using Square, if you guys can let me know. I'm talking about a retailer. If one of the viewers is a retailer using Square, are you able to accept Bitcoin? Is it just through the iOS app? So far, we've got We've got Seed from Seed Signer, right? The guy who created Seed Signer. He's claiming that this is what's happening, and I'm not really surprised on that. In all fairness, even though I appreciate Square's Cash App and stuff like that, I do find it, and I've said this before, I do find it underwhelming that businesses like Steak and Shake were here first. And what's scary is that they were accepting Bitcoin payments first, right? Like, this is a payment processor. Like, you are a back-end processor with a payment network that facilitates payments. And you didn't do Bitcoin right away. And then it took a restaurant essentially shaming you into being like, okay, all right, I guess we'll do the payments. It's no problem. Yeah. Anyways, I think we can go back to the some of the Hopium, though, right? Some of the Hopium was what I was trying to show before when my whole screen froze. Was Pakistan's Minister of State for Crypto and Blockchain holds up Bitcoin sign at the United Nations, which is very cool. However, the video that I was trying to play that screwed up showed the Prime Minister only talking about stable coins and crypto. So granted, we could say, oh, they don't know the difference, right? They just consider it all crypto. I don't know if I'm buying that anymore, because now it seems increasingly more and more people understand the difference between Bitcoin and crypto. So anyways, okay, moving on. We are going to go over to REKT. Yeah, that's right, guys. Let's take a look at who's REKT. This is some pretty nasty stuff. Let's dive into it. Tokenized exchange collapse leaves $266.3 million owed to users. This is pretty bad. Court-appointed managers estimated more than $2.66 million owed as of the 15th of August. Tokenized exchange operated by Amazing Tech was not licensed by the Monetary Authority of Singapore, but had been allowed to operate under temporary exemption during the transition to the Payment Services Act of 2019. And I guess they decided to just kind of walk away before all of that completed. So anyways, guys, this is just a typical cautionary tale. I know it feels comfortable to, leave your coins on an exchange, right? I know a whole bunch of guys are all thrilled to walk around saying not going to node, and it's super fun. And yeah, I think it's fun too, and it's exciting. But of course, once you get wrecked, it's not so exciting anymore. It just isn't. So yeah, I appreciate self-custody. I like running my own node. Sorry, not sorry. Anyways, who else is wrecked? Take a look at this one, guys. 100 million euro crypto fraud scheme brought down at the request of the Spanish and Portuguese authorities. Eurojust has coordinated a major operation across Europe to halt an elaborate investment fraud with crypto. Yeah, that's right, guys. That is some pretty bad stuff. Let's take a look at what happened over here with this one. This is pretty nasty stuff. So 5 suspects were arrested, including the alleged main perpetrator behind the scam. Via an online investment platform, he defrauded over 100 victims in Germany, France, Italy, and Spain of at least 100 million euro, which is at the time is a figure like 120 million dollars US. 5 places were searched in both Spain and Portugal, Italy, Romania, and Bulgaria. Bank accounts and other financial assets were also frozen. Wow, what a shock. The alleged main perpetrator is suspected of large-scale fraud and money laundering. Of course, $170 million. Yeah, just a little. The fraud has been running for several years. No shit. The main suspect offering high returns on investment in various cryptocurrencies. Yes, I fell for garbage like this. These investments were diverted mainly to bank accounts in Lithuania to launder the proceeds once victims tried to recover their investments. So this is good. This is where he added a humiliation ritual. Like as if losing your money wasn't bad enough at first, you could pay a fee. Anyways, once the victims tried to recover their investments, they were asked to pay additional fees. The investors lost most, or in some cases, all of their money. That is freaking brutal. And yes, I did back in 2018, 2019. I understood that the interest that they were paying out was unreasonable, but I just didn't care. I was sitting there and I thought to myself, well, I know that they're going to rug pull. All I need to do is get the money out before they rug pull. And of course, right, Murphy's Law, that never happened. I even had it happen to me once where I put Bitcoin in one night and the next day the site was gone. It was just gone. Yeah, don't be Phil. Don't be Phil. Or be Phil and learn from Phil's mistakes without making Phil's mistakes. There you go. Referring myself in the third person. I'm sorry, guys. That's just bad. That is bad stuff. Okay, let's dive into the big piece here. The big piece is this Shell news. Now, I am going to attempt to show a video. You guys may have seen this video circulating. I know that the Bitcoin historian was showing it. Right there. I don't know. On my end, it's not showing up properly, but essentially, it's a guy at a gas station. Yeah, there you go. All right. So look, he's supposedly using Bitcoin, right? That's the the TLDR is these two guys are at a gas station, seemingly a Shell gas station, and they are using Bitcoin for payments. Now, let's dive into it because it's not exactly what we think, right? Probably saw this tweet from you might want to change this, dude. Honestly, you got to stop calling yourself the historian because you're getting a whole lot of stuff wrong. Like just call yourself like the Bitcoin entertainment guy or something. I don't know, something else. Do yourself a favor because it's just getting embarrassing. Probably also saw this. Shell now accepts Bitcoin payments in South Africa, right? So we're all excited, right? That's it. Shell's accepting it, right? $200 billion company, blah, 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 all this stuff. Okay. But the real question is, where did this actually come from? Right? Where did it come from? So the claim that Shell now accepts Bitcoin payments in South Africa is false and appears to be based on cryptocurrency-related misinformation circulating on social media. Shell has confirmed its intention to sell its operations in South Africa and is divesting from the country entirely. That's right. Okay, so Shell's exit from South Africa, they announced this in May 2024. Okay, the other piece to it, the source of the misinformation, right? The false claim was spread primarily through crypto-focused accounts on social media platforms like Instagram, X. And I'm not kidding you. If you go and paste that wording, right, the wording of this, the wording of this tweet, all you're going to see are self-referential tweets. There is not a single source. There is nothing from Shell. Okay, there's nothing from Shell on this either. So all of this is just completely fake. It's just absolutely ridiculous, guys. So the Shell news is fake. Now, it's not to say that the gas stations that they sold possibly to other retailers are accepting payments, Bitcoin and crypto, right? It's not to say that that is not happening. The point is that Shell, the company, did not announce in any way, shape, or form, and they also did not confirm that they are accepting Bitcoin. However, they have confirmed that they are exiting out of the South African market entirely. Okay? It's completely different. It's completely different. This type of stuff doesn't help Bitcoin, guys. Honestly, like I hate seeing this stuff. And the reason why it pisses me off, right, is because I was one of those people who used to get very excited by these types of things, right? To me, it was I was looking for reasons why things are getting better, right? Why Bitcoin is gaining traction. So when big accounts like this choose to lie to everybody, or maybe they're not lying, right? That's negative framing. Misinformed, right? Big accounts like this are misinformed, or they're simply just amplifying misinformation, whatever it is, right? There's no nefarious anything behind it, right? It's all in good. It's all in good jest. It still burns people. It burns people on their expectations. And to me, that is what ends up causing a person, right? A person who possibly is just attempting to build their conviction, right? They might end up, falling over paper hands, right? And just being like, okay, I'm getting out of here. You know, it's too many lies. I don't know what's real. I don't know what isn't. Not much different than standard mainstream media, but when I came to Bitcoin, I was given the impression that we were different, right? Bitcoiners built differently. You know, we're always looking for the truth, right? Don't trust, verify. Shit's going right out the window. Anyways, guys, that is all for today. That's a good one. Anyways, as you know, I am going to be back. There you go. Hodl. I've been scammed before. Absolutely, man. It's freaking brutal. And this is one of the reasons that I do this, right? I don't like scamming. I don't like being scammed. I understand that every single person is a scammer in their own way. However, I do think that, you know what, we can take personal responsibility and can say, hey, you know what, maybe I did get scammed, but I'd like to maybe be a part of the reason why people don't get scammed. Right? Yeah. Anyways, all right, guys, have a great rest of the day, and I will catch you all tomorrow. Again, sorry about the technical difficulties. Tomorrow I will do better. Catch you then. Peace.